a lot has changed from when we were in high school. The times are faster. They're jumping farther. They're jumping higher. They're throwing further. Why do you think so much has changed?
Yeah, I can only speculate. I don't know exactly why, but I would say a few things. I would say maybe the standard that these colleges are setting to get scholarships I don't know. But back when I was running like 208, 210, that got you a full ride to some good schools. And I don't know if that's still the case. So maybe these high schools are stepping up because they know the standards that these colleges have set are higher, faster, further. I'm not sure. That's one speculation I have. They may be motivated by these NIL deals. I mean.
And I want to talk about some numbers real quick before I give my perspective. Brianna Selby, 719, right? That's the new meet record, I think, at the New Balance meet. Adija Hodge, 722. Dominic Corley, switching over to the men's side, men's 60, 667. Antoine Hughes Jr., 669. Going over to the 200, Jake O'Day Jordan, 2066. This kid is a 10th grader, right? Jaden Wiley, 2071. Kane Stanley, 2079. These are indoor high school times. And not to mention the last place in the men's 200 in New Balance was 21.4. I ran 21.4 outdoors in the 11th grade. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 6 of the Run Your Race show. I am Akeem.
And Chanelle.
And we are your hosts. If you are enjoying the content, enjoying the videos, enjoying the conversation, then do us a huge favor. Like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of things to discuss today, but first and foremost, how we always started, how was your weekend from your perspective?
It was good, but before we dive into that, it is a special day. It is your birthday. So happy birthday. How you feeling?
Thank you. Birthdays are pretty regular for me. They're just regular days. But, you know, I always give thanks, and I'm grateful for another year of life. So let's move past that. And how was your weekend?
It was a good weekend. I think the highlight was definitely watching the LSU and South Carolina women's basketball game, the conference final. Those teams are fun to watch. It's from the beginning to the end. It's a battle, and you can tell there's a little animosity between the teams, and we saw that at the end when there unfortunately was some fighting. But I appreciated the coach from South Carolina at the end, after they won. In her interview, she said, I'm sorry to the fans. Emotions got a little out of control. She's going to address it with her players, and some of the players have come out and apologized. But in those situations, man, like she said, emotions get high, and sometimes you act out of character. But it was a good game, and I'm excited to see them hopefully come face to face again in the NCAA tournament. So.
And that's something that we probably could see depending on how the bracket is set up. But it's always interesting because we were talking about leadership, and then the LSU coach, Coach Mulkey, came and said, I wish that she would have pushed Angel Reese. And it's just like, she's always been a very emotional coach. Like, she wears her emotions on the sleeve, whereas Dawn Staley's a little bit more calm and collective. But they're both champions in their own right. But I would say women's basketball right now, especially in the collegiate scene, this has been the best in a while that we have seen it. Most exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing the tournament. It's going to be action packed, and maybe we'll see these two again. If you saw the game, let us know in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the whole situation? But let's get into the track and field part of things. NCAA Indoor Championships. What did you think about it? What was the highlights? It was in Boston. Beautiful stadium. Beautiful indoor complex. What did you think about it? Any highlights for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think off the bat, I wanted to ask you, they were saying it's not a fast track. And with the 800 meter and up, like, a track is a track, really. We don't really, I don't really know what they mean by like a fast track. So when they say that, what do they mean?
Well, I can't, it's when you speak of it from a sprinter perspective, like the track is bouncy, like it gives back. You'll be able to tell, running seems effortless. It feels smooth. You feel explosive. You take like 3 steps out and you're like, whoa, like I'm feeling right. So you kind of know. And I think based on what we've seen from this, I think it would have been much faster times if it was at Arkansas.
Okay. So Arkansas is a fast track. Yeah. I've heard
not
that
for me, but historically.
Okay. Well, highlights for me. I'll start with the distance races. Parker Valby from Florida. She did the double in the 3,000 meter and the 5,000 meter. She won both of those. That's a tough double. It's not like she gets a break in between. That's, Friday, Saturday. And she looked good. She ran championship records, the fastest ever ran at an NCAA meet. And after the race, she's still bubbly and just excited and didn't really look too tired. So definitely someone I'm excited to see outdoor. And then on the men's side, Nico Young from NAU, he came and did the same double, the 3,000 meter, 5,000 meter double, won both of those, looked incredibly tactically strong finish. So definitely 2 favorites heading outdoor for the distance events would be Parker and Nico. Also, shout out to the Arkansas women going 1, 2, 3 in the women's 400 meter final. It's one thing to have 3 women in the final, but then to have them go 1, 2, 3, like I don't know if that's ever been done before. So shout out to them. And no doubt that the points they scored in that event helped them capture the team title. So that was really cool to see. Also, I got to give a shout out to Christopher Morales Williams from Georgia. We saw him a couple of weeks ago run that incredible time at SEC's. Technically not a world record, but that's a different story for a different day. But he did, establish himself as the world leader. And so that's a lot of pressure to carry into the NCAA meet. And he goes and he wins the title this weekend at NCAA. So he's showing consistency. He ran a fast time again. So it wasn't a fluke at SEC's. Yeah. He's showing that he's someone that can contend for a medal at outdoor at the Olympic trials, I think, if he stays healthy and doesn't get burnt out from all the collegiate racing. So shout out to him. And then my favorite race of the meet, of course, I'm biased, but it was an incredible race, the women's 800. It was great to see Michaela Rose take it out and run her race. I've seen her take it out a bit faster in previous races, so maybe that would have played to her advantage. But I don't know, because Juliet Whitaker from Stanford, she's strong. So, she just trailed Michaela the whole way and ended up getting her that last little bit and taking the title for Stanford. So shout out to her. But it was just an overall really gutsy performance from both women. It was a battle. And I think we'll see those 2 again at outdoor lining up and taking it to each other. So excited to see that duel come outdoor.
Man, Juliet's a competitor, and I think that was from my perspective, I thought that was the part of the reason why she was able to hold on. And we were talking about that. And you kind of mentioned, you felt like she could have took it out. Michaela could have took it out a little bit harder. And that would have made it harder for Juliet to kind of keep up with her. Maybe it would, maybe it couldn't. Yeah. But we've talked about tactical races and we've talked about when to just go for it. How do you know, is it something that happens after the first lap? Do you just say, I got to throw away the original plan? Or how do you go into it? Because to me, I was like, man, if she goes out and runs a 58 again, first lap, she might be able to break her, but it didn't happen like that. So how does one, from your perspective, make adjustments in the race in real times? Because you want to listen to your coach, but sometimes maybe your body doesn't have it, or you just like, man, I gotta shock them. So how do you know when to make the adjustment? Is it a feeling thing?
Yeah, I think it's a feeling, and I think Michaela knew that she wanted to take it. I don't know if the plan was to take it out a little bit harder in 57 low, because she's someone who can handle that, but not a lot of people can. So I don't know if that was the original plan that her coach told her, 57, and then in the race she switched it to a 58, because they did come through in 58, which is still very fast, but not fast enough to really shock Juliet's legs. Like and I don't know. I don't even know if 57 would have shocked her legs, but yeah, maybe Michaela was feeling a little tired and she didn't come through 57 because of that. I don't know, but it would have been interesting to see if Juliet would have had that strong finish had they come through in 57 seconds.
Yeah. Again, obviously, we'll see what happens outdoor. Shout out to Coach JJ Clark, another one. That's pretty impressive. For me, I got three names that come to mind. Terrence Jones, man. I mean, he is the defending champion, and it's hard to defend your title. And so he was able to come in and win the 60 and the 200 double. That's always an impressive feat because it seems easy, but until you do it with the pressure on and everything that comes with it, man, got to give him credit for that. Wayne Pinnock, the Jamaican from Arkansas. I mean, there was three or four guys, if I remember correctly, who jumped over 8 meters. And 840, that's being able to perform in pressure in real time. And that sets him up for that much more greater of an outdoor season because now he's got the target on his back, not just for the collegiate, but that's the world leading jump.
Wow.
So now you're going into outdoors and you're like, man, how do I get better than 840? 840 is great, but now we know that there's got to be more. So shout out to him for doing that. And I got to give it to Rachel Glenn as well, too, for her 2-meter jump. You know, she was coming in not the favorite, and she upset the favorite, the Texas A&M young woman, Diston, who she is the co-record holder as well, too. But Rachel again came out and showed that, like, hey, I can jump high as well, too. So I thought that were some of the highlights for me. I thought it was a great meet overall. I do think if it was at Arkansas, these times would have been a little bit better, but it's all good. They're going to bring it outdoors. And just being able to be, sometimes it's not so much about times and jumps as much as it's about execution and performance. And in this times, yes, we care about that stuff. Absolutely. The athletes care about it. But to be able to say you are an NCAA champion, that's got to be a great feeling as well, too. But we can't just go to indoor championships and the collegiates because, man, these high school athletes are nowadays neck and neck, it may seem like at some point, but a lot has changed from when we were in high school. Certain times that were fast back then is kind of regular this time around. So I want to ask you, from what you've seen, why do you think the times are faster? They're jumping farther, they're jumping higher, they're throwing further. Why do you think so much has changed in kind of a short time period?
Yeah, I can only speculate. I don't know exactly why, but I would say a few things. I would say maybe the standard that these colleges are setting to get scholarships I don't know. But back when I was running like 208, 210, that got you a full ride to some good schools. And I don't know if that's still the case. So maybe these high schools are stepping up because they know the standards that these colleges have set are higher, faster, further. I'm not sure. That's one speculation I have. Also, they may be motivated by these NIL deals. I mean, you know, the companies are pouring money into high school athletes now, and that's really cool. And so I don't know if that's a motivating factor, or it could just be that they've seen so many current stars who are also stars in high school. So by what I mean by that, you have the Sydney McLaughlin, the Athing Mo, the Noah Lyles, the Ajay Wilson, the Talitha Diggs, you know, just like, well, if they can do it, why can't I do it? You know, they were fast in high school. Now they are on the world stage. So maybe that's their motivating factor. So those are a few reasons why I think these high school athletes are showing out. I mean, every year, ever since we were in high school, there were athletes who ran fast.
100%.
But now it just seems a little bit more common across the board. Like it's not just one athlete in the event. It's like the entire final at these high school nationals is fast. So it's really exciting to see. And
I want to talk about some numbers real quick before I give my perspective. Brianna Selby, 7:19, right? That's the new meet record, I think, at the New Balance meet. Adijah Hodge, 7:22. Dominic Corley, switching over to the men's side, men's 60, 6:67. Antoine Hughes Jr., 6:69. Going over to the 200, Jake O'Day Jordan, 20:66. This kid is a 10th grader, right? Jaden Wiley, 20:71. Kane Stanley, 20:79. These are indoor high school times. And not to mention the last place in the men's 200 in New Balance was 21:4. I ran 21:4 outdoors in the 11th grade. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I agree with a bunch of what you said. I think the addition to it for me is also, man, kids are just genetically evolving. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a Nick Harbor, who was a football player who runs track. We saw him, he goes to South Carolina. You know, when he is on the track, he's like 6'5". You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just these kids, it's kind of like the mile, right? When the mile was broken by that one guy.
Alan Webb, maybe?
It was the first guy to break a 4-minute mile.
I think it was Alan Webb.
Yeah, and then you see like, more and more kids are doing that every single year now, it seems like. And so I think it's just now they're able to, as the saying goes, you stand on the backs of giants. Everyone, they've now seen enough to say, okay, that's the new target mark. This isn't acceptable anymore. This isn't, I have to do more. So kids are getting, I think just they're genetically getting stronger and adjusting to it. I think they have higher targets, higher goals that are maybe attainable now with the faster tracks. The spikes are different than just the evolution of everything that comes with an evolving sport, that they're able to just say, man, I don't have to, man, I didn't run 6'6" until I turned pro. And these kids are doing it, you know, so I think it's going to continue to get faster. They're going to continue to run far, jump fast, run fast. All these different things is going to continue to happen. And it's great because it makes the sport that much more exciting. But man, it's going to be, I don't even know what's a full scholarship anymore, you know, so it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of those sprint times. I wanted to shout out two people on the distance side. We had Elizabeth Leachman, a senior from Texas. She ran the high school national record in the 5,000 meter. Now, that's a 5K. So for the casual runner listening, they'll know what a fast 5K is. And this is a senior female in high school, ran 15:28 and some change. 15:20. I know you have no idea, but for the distance casual runner listening, 15:28 for a high school girl senior. That's incredible. And then on the men's side, we had Drew Griffith of PA. He ran a high school national record in the 2 mile of 8:34 and some change. So 2 miles in 8 minutes and 34 seconds. It's fast. And I don't know if they got some encouragement from Parker Valby and Nico Young, but I mean, these high school distance runners are rolling along with the sprinters that you mentioned. So like you said, it's exciting. Shout out to the coaches, because you're not going to run fast without good coaching. And we'll see what colleges these people choose or if they decide to go pro. College. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's true.
With what they're running. Did you see any high school times during when you were watching it? What stuck out to you? What did we miss? Let us know in the comment section below, which leads us to our performers of the week. And with so many great performances out there, man, and it's going to be tough to pick. But for you, who is your performer of the week?
I'm going to go with Quincy Wilson, high school 400 meter runner, new national record, 45:76. That's
impressive. Indoors.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing much to say. That is fast. That's a fast outdoor time.
Exactly.
So just shout out to him. Shout out to his team. I think we will see him show up at the Olympic trials this summer. That'll be a great experience for him. And who knows, he may make that team. So he definitely has, I think, some of those pros, on their toes now.
For me, it's again, another high school athlete, Jake O'Day Jordan. I mean, 10th grade, 20.6 indoors. Like that is rolling. And that's indoors. And so you can only imagine with the right wind, with the right track, what he could do outdoors. All these athletes have to stay healthy. And that's going to play a big factor in it. But man, 10th grade, 20.6, if he keeps his trajectory, who knows what he could run by the time he's a senior in high school. So for me, Jake O'Day Jordan is my performer of the week. Who is your performer of the week? Who did we miss? Let us know in the comment section below. It's always interesting when you go through the indoor season and you have this anticipation and you're building up to the World Championships, NCAAs, and then just like that, it's done. And we move forward to what everybody wants to talk about, and that's the outdoor season.
Yes. And there's a little break now from the high school level, the collegiate level, and the pro level. You know, you take a breather, you reevaluate how your indoor season went, and you talk it over with your coaches, you set new goals and figure out the plan to reach those goals now. But now there's a little break in competition. And so instead of highlighting what meets we're looking forward to, we thought it'd be cool to talk about some athletes that we're looking forward to seeing this outdoor season. So you want to start us off?
I'm looking forward to seeing, honestly, all of the Jamaican women. Talking about, Shelly Ann. It's going to be her last year, so there's going to be a lot of. There's always a lot of cameras on her, but a lot more about how she's going to handle this season performance-wise, what she'll look like, when she's going to open up. You know, obviously, Sharika Jackson, she has been really imposing her presence in the recent couple years, right? And obviously, Elaine Thompson-Hera, she's going to be there as well, too. But also, there's so many young athletes coming up as well, too. Like, I'm really interested to see how the young Canadian, the young 400-meter Canadian, Christopher Morales, how he's going to do. Like, I think he's still a little bit raw to me when I watch his mechanics. And to me, that's kind of, that's dangerous, because to me, I'm like, man, if he can clean up some stuff, I think this kid might run 43 this year. Like, I think it's that type of potential. You know, I'm also looking forward to seeing Johan Blake. It's going to be his last Olympic campaign as well, too. Oblique Seville. I'm looking forward to seeing how this new crop of Canadians are going to be running as well, too, because it's a great time in Canada for the sprinting side of things. So I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of different athletes. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what the triple jump is like. The Cubans are looking good, always looking good. So I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of different things in the sport, but it would be hard to just pinpoint one. But there's a lot for me. And obviously, we haven't even talked about Sha'Carri as well, too, But what about you? Who are some of the athletes and events that you may be looking forward to in the next couple weeks?
Yeah, definitely going to keep my eye on these high school athletes that we've highlighted, just to see how that transitions to the outdoor season. And again, to see what colleges they select. That's always an exciting thing. In the collegiate realm, I think I'm most excited for that 800-meter matchup between Juliette Whitaker and Michaela Rose. I think, Michaela's going to be a little upset, so she's going to have to figure out what strategy to take to beat Juliette. So definitely looking forward to that matchup. And on the pro side, like you said, there's so many people that I can name, but I'm most excited to see those people who didn't run indoor. And so you have Athing Mo, you have Sydney McLaughlin, you have Ajay Wilson, and then, I'm friends with a lot of 800-meter runners still. So excited to see Charlene Lipsy open up. Sabrina Sutherland, she ran a little bit indoor, but excited to see her outdoor. Kendra Chambers, excited to see her open up this outdoor season. So shout out to all my 800 girls, excited to watch them and cheer them on this season. But I think the biggest matchup I'm looking forward to is Josh Kerr and Inga Brinston.
Shout out to Inga Brinston.
Distance side. I'm guessing they're going to run the 1500 at the Olympics. And there's been some trash talk, not really from Josh. He just says no comment, but Inga Brinston's not afraid to share his thoughts and keep it a little spicy between them. So excited to see them. Excited to see Faith Kipyegon from Kenya. I'm guessing again that she's going to do the 15, maybe the 15 5K double, but then there's Safan Hassan, who always shows up and shows out. So, I mean, there's so many people. And like you said, Sha'Carri, excited to see her open up. It's a target on her back this year. And those Jamaican women are not going to let it be easy. You got Noah Lyles, Christian Coleman, Fred Curley. So it's just going to be an exciting outdoor season.
And the thing with track is there's always favorites, but nothing is guaranteed, all right? Because you got to show up on the day, on that night, and execute the race to the best of your ability. So honestly, I think, and again, there's so many others as well too. I'm very sprinter biased. I'm trying to get away from that because I thought I was going to see Marvin Bracey this year as well too, and we didn't see him indoors as well too. So it's going to be a fantastic year, and we're going to see how it unfolds. Obviously, we'll touch more on who is going to compete who and the pressure is on who, but it's always going to bring more to the light at the right time. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle the pressure. I think that's something that I'm always interested in. But what are some matchups or athletes that you are looking forward to this year? Let us know in the comment section below. So after church, we had an interesting conversation with a great family. We're not going to put their names out there out of complete respect. But she's coming down to a school in America, leaving one place where she's been familiar with, the whole different country, whole different part of the world, and now they're coming over here to forward their education, but also to develop in the sporting space of things. But the transition from high school to college is very challenging, not just in the sport, but the whole entirety of culture, being away from your family. Yeah. Like it's a lot. What are some things that would make it difficult for a high school athlete to transition to college? And what are some tips that you would give to help them?
Yeah. I think, like you said, that support system, that you're moving away from that. So whether that's parents, grandma, friends, your high school coach that is no longer, you're going to your college coach now. So that familiarity, that support system that you had in high school, it's a hard adjustment. So that's one thing. Like you said, I would say just the demands of being a student athlete, that new schedule that you are kind of thrown into right off the bat. You have that. For me, it was like 5:30 a.m. practice, and then weights, and then class from like 8 to 2, and then practice again from 3 to 6, and then dinner, study hall. It's literally like you're just thrown into the fire and you got to survive. Yes, there are resources. They give you tutors, they give you mentors. But it's an adjustment. Sometimes you're away from class because you're traveling. So if the track competition starts on Friday, you may leave on Wednesday. Well, you have class Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that you're not attending. And some professors, they're like, well, you're going to take the test before you leave, or turn the project in before you leave, or take the test while you're on the bus, So it's time management, it's responsibility. It's a whole nother level. Another thing, you're not the only good one anymore. Like you were talking yesterday, like when you were at Barton and you were kind of at the bottom, you had to call one of your old coaches and be like, yo, like, what do I do? I'm not used to not being the best. So that was hard for me. I wasn't even the best on my team, let alone the best in the conference or the best in the nation. So all those adjustments mentally, physically, it's a new training program. It's different. And that, I would say, that's where I want to focus on my advice, because I did not buy into my college coach's training. I wanted to still do what I was doing in high school because what I did worked. So why am I coming here and you're changing what I did? And so I of course I would do what Coach JJ said, but I wasn't really believing in it. I wasn't buying into it. And if you're not buying into what you're doing, it's going to show in your performance. And it showed. I was not performing well. So I would say my biggest advice to high school athletes is, you have to trust your coach. You got to have that open communication, but also like buy into your training. It is going to be different, but they're a college coach for a reason. And I'm sure they've had a lot of success. JJ had a lot of success coaching 800 meter women. And it wasn't until I started to buy into what he was telling me to do that I started to perform well. So I know I just said a lot, and I don't mean to scare the high school athletes, but it is a tough transition.
No, I think scared is the right word. It is scary. I mean, when you're doing something new, it's scary. You're not used to it. You're not sure how it's going to unfold. And even when you feel like you're prepared, you're not prepared for everything. Mm-hmm. And so it is like, for me, I was always someone who was always disciplined and always someone who was very focused. And even from my transition from Barton to Alabama, it was hard. Mm-hmm. Not so much about the sporting side of things, but transitioning from, man, these classes are bigger. These teachers don't really care so much about that. I have to leave a week in advance to prepare for work, for schoolwork. And so my GPA fell, and it fell by quite a bit. But it took me a while to get back into a routine. And that's the thing that I would say for me. It's like, when you get there, you got to remember how you learn best in the classroom. You have to know how you operate, what makes you overwhelmed. You have to know how much is too much, and that's going to take some time to really get your bearings around. Mm-hmm. But if you come in there trying to run everywhere with your head cut off, it's going to be overwhelming. So it's just remembering, like, how do I simplify where I'm at?
Yeah. And ask for help. You know, there are resources. There are tutors, there are mentors. You do have a counselor there who knows what classes you need to be taking and what your GPA needs to look like. And maybe, like you said, if you have a certain learning style, I know what professor would work better for you versus this professor, or maybe don't take that class, maybe take this class. So there's people there to help, right? Talk to your coaches, talk to your older teammates, get advice, get a mentor, and there are a lot of distractions. If you want to have fun, you can have fun in college, right? So, and I'm not have fun, but remember why you're there. And that's what you told the young lady yesterday, to remember why she's there.
Yeah. If you're going to have fun and doing your partying and stuff like that, man, put a number on it and do that in the off season. But when the season comes, man, put that away, and so it's just always remembering that everyone isn't after what you're after, and everyone isn't trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve. But you can't let what you're trying to achieve be clouded, that you forget what you're trying to do and why you're there. It's a lot at stake, but also something that I told the family as well too is like, remember to have fun with it. It's supposed to be a fun experience and a fun time. I didn't think about fun. I thought about the job needs to be done for me personally.
Yeah.
And so,
but one thing you also told her that I liked was you said, give yourself some grace, because, that first year, those first 2 years, your performance may not be, you may go backwards from your high school times, because it's just, this is a whole new environment. It's a whole new system. You may go backwards before you go forward. And so give yourself some grace and know that transitioning, it's a part of life, but it's not easy.
Yeah. My first year in Barton was not good. It was not good. My second year, I caught my progression. Like my first year, I wasn't used to, I was always an early riser, but not a 5 a.m. workout ready to roll riser. In that first session, man, like the difference in training program, as you said, I wasn't used to doing 30 minutes of core work. I wasn't used to lifting heavily like this and then training after. You're training on the same day. I wasn't used to that. And it took me a while to get used to that. And so understand that your path to success, while it may be different, it may be a little delayed, it may seem like, it doesn't mean that you're not moving in the right direction in order to get there. So definitely give yourself some grace, because grace is something that as athletes, we don't always often do because of the pressure that's around us of having to get things done now. So I know we said a lot, and I know it can be overwhelming at times, but at the end of the day, take things one day at a time and remember why you're there. Remember what you're trying to achieve, and then attack each day to the best of your ability. Don't forget to ask for help if you need it, and make sure you're taking some time to regroup yourself and taking some time for you. So that's episode 6. It is a wrap. Another episode of the Run Your Race show is out. And I think life is not about perfection. It's about progress. And you got to run your race at your own pace.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was
a bar.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to just stop there.
Yeah. Drop mic. Yeah.
We'll see you next time.